Hey guys, welcome back to another video on sports stuff. I'm Nick, and today we'll be going over round 1 of the NFL draft and kind of breaking down, reacting to this. It's about 12 hours after it ended. It's about 12 hours after it ended. I did a little bit of work after the stream ended. I then got like 5-6 hours of sleep and went right back to the computer, just trying to work out what I really do think happened in the NFL draft. So if you guys do enjoy this video, please leave a like, comment, subscribe. Let's get into it. So you're going to be using NFL.com's, their website, to kind of go through each pick and grade it. So for the first pick with Trayvon Walker, it's not a good pick. Sure, cool. He's a really good run defender. I'll give him that. But he is not a pass rusher. Now, I don't understand the upside that people kept talking about. Any player in the draft has upside, right? Trayvon Walker, granted, he was never really great at pass rushing. He never really pass rushed in college. But like the reason he went from like a top 20 prospect to the number 1 overall pick is because of the media. I'm being genuinely serious about that. I can't go higher than a C. There were Aiden Hutchinson and Kvon Thibodeaux were better prospects. I'm surprised at A's and B's there. Trayvon Walker, I don't care. He's not better than Aiden Hutchinson. He's not better than Kvon Thibodeaux. And there's an argument that he's not better than other guys on the Georgia defensive line that went later in the draft. Trayvon Walker was never asked to pass rush, and whether that was he literally is not able to pass rush, or he was just asked not to, it doesn't matter. Taking a guy in Trayvon Walker that the only reason he flew up boards is because he's athletic. No, duh. Most guys in the NFL Combine are athletic. Most guys in their pro days are going to be athletic. But like, on film, on the field, I don't think Trayvon Walker is the best pick in the draft, and he's definitely not the best player in the draft. And when you go number 1 overall, you're drafting the best player in the draft. That's what you're trying to do. And there's a 0% chance Trayvon Walker will become the best player in the draft. He will not even become the best pass rusher in this class. And it's not even that I don't believe in Trayvon Walker. I also don't believe in the Jaguars as an organization. They're an organization that likes to shift stuff around too much, and they're very impatient. And that's my problem, is that when you're an NFL team, let me just move that up. When you're an NFL team, you have to be patient. The Jaguars aren't. They fire people. They move on from guys too soon. I mean, last offseason, C.J. Henderson literally got traded. Their 2020 first-round pick got traded 1 year in. You cut Miles Jack, which is warranted, but like, everything that Trent Baalke has done this offseason has been bad and unimpressive. And while I like their pick later on in Devin Lloyd, I don't think Trayvon Walker was a good pick at 1. So I'm okay with my fair draft pick. There's better prospects available. Like, there's just better prospects available. Aiden Hutchinson, that's a home run of a pick. You let the draft board 72%. Wow. The draft board fell in your favor. You draft the guy who's born and raised. And Aiden Hutchinson, he's probably the best lineman in this class. I still like Kvon Thibodeaux a little bit more. I like his future more. Aiden Hutchinson's a better immediate player, while I think Kvon Thibodeaux is just below him immediately. But I think KT has the chance to develop a little bit better. That doesn't mean that Aiden Hutchinson's going to be bad. I'm not saying that. I love Aiden Hutchinson. I'm happy he went number 2 overall. But they had the pick of any player in the draft. I mean, it's like they had the number 1 overall pick. That's what it was like at number 2. Because they were not going to go Trayvon Walker. No team in the top 5 was going to go Trayvon Walker except for the Jaguars. So they knew the entire draft process. Like, hey, if they go Trayvon Walker, we basically have the number 1 pick in the draft, and we believe Aiden Hutchinson's the best player. And you wouldn't be wrong. Like, it is between him, KT, and Evan Neal. Those are the 3 players that you could argue were the best player in this draft, and they had the pick of all of them. So that was a really good pick by Brad Holmes. Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes are doing an amazing job up there in Detroit. Next up is Derek Stingley Jr. with the Texans. I also said this was an A-plus pick. So they run the Tampa 2 defense. In fact, Lovie Smith was one of the creators of the Tampa 2 defense. Like, he was one of those guys that helped, mold and shape that scheme. So in the Tampa 2 defense, coverage play is immensely important. And apparently, during his pro day and all the interviews, he was completely healthy. And a completely healthy Derek Stingley Jr. is a very good player. I still have Sauce as the number 1 corner, but if you think Derek Stingley fits your scheme better, you grab the guy who you think fits the scheme better. But I think Lovie Smith is going to love Derek Stingley Jr., and I wouldn't be surprised if they double dip in the secondary in day 2. Next up is Sauce Gardner. This was a little bit early. I'm not going to lie. I didn't think corners would go at 4. I thought 5 was going to be where the first corner goes, but it's still an A-plus pick. Still, Sauce Gardner, he's my best corner on the board. He's exceptional in almost every scheme. And the Jets, they already have a really good secondary now. They have Sauce Gardner, Bryce Hall, DJ Reed, Michael Carter, Javelin Guidry, really deep corner room. Safeties are fine. It's not the greatest. It's an okay safety room. But, again, they're building up that team really well. And with the additions they had at number 10 and at number 26, they probably had the best first round of anyone this year. And I think they have a chance to really do something in the AFC East this year. While I still think the Bills are going to win that division, the Jets might actually have a winning record and prove that Robert Saleh is a good coach and that Joe Douglas deserves his job, because Joe Douglas did an amazing job today. Or yesterday, I guess. Number 5 is Kvon Thibodeaux. The only team that could compete for the Jets having the best overall draft so far is the Giants. They got 2 of the top prospects that everyone had at number 1 at 5 and 7. Obviously, first overall at 5, they grabbed Kvon Thibodeaux, and he was arguably the best pass rusher in this class. He was my number 1 pass rusher. So the Giants, they got my number 1 edge rusher and my number 1 left tackle. Obviously, he's going to move the right tackle, but they had my number 1 all-around tackle and my number 1 edge defender at 5 and 7. And they were both, in my opinion, arguably the best players in the draft. And they got them at 5 and at 7. So the Giants, they grabbed Kvon Thibodeaux. He's going to be a amazing player. Azeez Ojulari, opposite of Kvon Thibodeaux. You have a speed rusher and a power rusher. That's going to be really good. They're both I guess Kvon Thibodeaux is more of a speed rusher right now, but he definitely has the frame to build up more of a power assets. And, man, that's going to be a good defensive line next year. They've invested heavily this offseason in that defensive line, and just in the past couple of drafts. I think there's a very good chance that the Giants could make a run this season with Brian Dable and Joe Sheen. Next up is the Panthers. They grabbed Ike Ekwonu. So I was really scared that Ike Ekwonu wouldn't be drafted. In fact, the entirety of the draft up until pick 6, I kept saying Ike Ekwonu needs to go to the Panthers. Needs to. They have Braden Christensen at left tackle, who was drafted last year. If you think Christensen can work out, awesome. Ike Ekwonu plays left guard, and he'll be immediately one of the best guards in the NFC. Ike Ekwonu is a really good guard. I'm happy he went to a team that needs him and is going to play him at guard more than likely. But if you don't like Brady Christensen, you can play at tackle. He's versatile. He was my best all-around offensive lineman, while Evan Neal was my best left tackle. But I thought Ike Ekwonu cleared everyone because of his versatility, his skill sets. He's not really the pass protector that you were hoping for. He's mainly a run defender right now. But Ike Ekwonu, give him a year, he'll be a really good left tackle. That's an A-plus pick. Next up is the Giants. Again, Evan Neal, like I said, my top 2 guys were Kvon Thibodeaux, Evan Neal, and then Aiden Hutchinson. Those are my 3 guys. And I had all of them going number 1 overall up until a week ago. And then I said, I think the Jaguars are going to grab Trayvon Walker. I think they're going to do it, which I don't like. I didn't like that pick. But I started saying the possibility, it looks like that's going to happen. So the Giants grabbing Evan Neal was, in my opinion, one of the best picks of the entire draft, because that is a franchise right tackle. He has experience at right tackle, but I still wish he would have gone to a team where they would have primarily played him at left tackle. But, at the Giants, he's going to play right tackle for them. They now have 2 bookend tackles that are both really good and both top prospects in their drafts, respectively. He's massive. Evan Neal is massive. So if Saquon Barkley and Daniel Jones can't succeed with those 2 guys at tackle, they won't succeed anywhere. I'm being genuine. Next up is Drake London. This is the first F. This is one of the worst picks in the draft. I think this is one of the worst picks in the draft. I went over this during the draft. I might just cut to that clip from the draft party, but I'm just gonna explain it again right now. In the NFL, corners and safeties nowadays run low 40-yard dashes, 4.2s, 4.3s, really low 4.4s. Drake London runs a 4.7 40-yard dash. He was known primarily as a jump ball 50-50 receiver in college. Name one jump ball 50-50 receiver who has succeeded in the last 5 years. Name one. J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, Hakeem Butler, N'Keal Harry. Anyone else? Anyone else even worth noting the name of? No, because jump ball receivers who cannot run fast don't succeed anymore. In this league, in this modern day league, where you need to be lengthy and fast, or compact and fast, you cannot be slow anymore. Drake London needed to go somewhere where he was the slot receiver, play that Michael Thomas role, where he's an oversized slot receiver. But with the Falcons, he's going to be asked to be wide receiver 1. That's not okay. That's not okay. Drake London was put into a situation to fail. They drafted him to be the A.J. Brown of their team, because obviously it's Arthur Smith, and we've seen with an oversized receiver them succeed with A.J. Brown. But A.J. Brown is way better than Drake London. Even as a prospect, he was way better. I hope I'm proven wrong. I never want to be right when I say a guy is going to bust. I want to be proven wrong. But I truly believe that Drake London needed a specific scheme and a specific quarterback to get him the ball accurately. Because when you're a jump ball receiver, you need a quarterback who can throw you those accurate jump balls. I don't see it in Drake London. I don't. I've been marking him the last month that he's going to bust. Depending on where he goes, he's going to bust. And I think that he's going to bust with the Falcons, which sucks. I wish he wouldn't. But that's the feeling that I'm getting. Next up is Charles Cross. Amazing pick. I'm actually going to go good draft pick. I don't think it's excellent. No, I'm going to go excellent. They didn't go quarterback. I was worried they might go quarterback. So the Seahawks, they haven't gone tackle in years when they needed a tackle. I believe it was Stone Forsythe. They said in the draft stream, was it Stone Forsythe was their starting left tackle? Who? A man named Stone Forsythe was their starting left tackle before they grabbed Charles Cross. Not okay. They can now continue that revamped offensive line for that revamped quarterback room in Charles Cross. He's a franchise left tackle. I think he's one of the best pass protectors. I think all around he is a really good pass protector. He's dominant one-on-one, and he could get better in the run game. But with your elite receivers you have in Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf, I'm not surprised that they want to go a pass pro tackle, because they're going to want to throw the ball a lot. And yeah, most people agree it's either an excellent or a good draft pick. They sat still at 9 and still got one of the best tackles in the class. Number 10. Whoa. What has happened? Number 10 was Garrett Wilson. I don't know why it just refreshed. Yeah, number 10 was Garrett Wilson. This is a really good pick. The Jets all offseason have been trying to trade for a wide receiver, and reports is that the Jets turned down a draft day trade that was going to send number 10 overall to the San Francisco 49ers for Deebo Samuel. It was turned down. The Jets turned it down. So that told me that they were going to sit there at 10, and the only way they wouldn't trade for Deebo Samuel is if Garrett Wilson was there. And I think they were surprised that he didn't go at 8. So I think they were going to wait until draft day, see what happened, and then trade the 10th overall pick for Deebo Samuel. But because Garrett Wilson was there, they said, hey, we're going to grab Garrett Wilson. Shoot. No, you guys, we'll deny the draft day. We'll deny the trade. But apparently that trade was going to happen if Garrett Wilson went at 8. So the 49ers are obviously mad at the Falcons for drafting what's probably going to end up being a bust of a guy. But yeah, he's probably the best receiver in the class. Him and Jameson Williams are 1A, 1B for me. And the only reason that Garrett Wilson was over Jameson Williams is because he didn't get hurt and he was able to play out the entirety of the season. And he has no off-the-field problems. I really like Garrett Wilson. I don't think he's going to bust. I think he'll truly be their X receiver. And he's going to get targeted a lot by Zach Wilson. They do have Elijah Moore. They do have Corey Davis. They also re-signed Braxton Berrios, who's a pretty okay backup slot option. They have a lot of receivers. I don't think they really have a tight end yet. I wouldn't be surprised if they go tight end early in day 2. Like, grabbing a Trey McBride for this Jets team would be really good. I would love a Trey McBride to the Jets. But yeah, Garrett Wilson, number 10 to the Jets. This is a little bit of a... I'm going to explain. So I'm actually going to go only a good draft pick for Chris Olave. Not an A+. I'm going to give it a B. Because they traded so much to get Chris Olave. Like, you traded your first-round pick next year to get 2 first-round picks in this year's draft. You also trade like a third, I believe, as well. You then trade, again, a third-round pick and a fourth-round pick in this year's draft to move up to 11 to grab Chris Olave. So overall, it was a first-round pick, a third-round pick, another third-round pick, and a fourth-round pick for Chris Olave. A little bit of an overpay. Just a little bit of an overpay for Chris Olave. Him as a player is good. I've been saying this the entirety of the draft process. Chris Olave is the best wide receiver 2 in this class. I don't know if he can be that wide receiver 1 X receiver, but he's the best wide receiver in this class. His route running is crisp. I think he has some of the best hands, but a little early for me. I had him about like pick 18, pick 17 is where I thought he would go. They trade up to ensure that they grab him because there's thought to be, once you grab Drake London and then Garrett Wilson goes a pick or 2 later, you have to immediately be like, okay, a run on wide receiver is about to happen. We're going to expect the Packers to trade up. The Chiefs might trade up. And the Lions trade up. So yeah, you have to predict that, like, okay, we need to trade up for our guy. So they trade up. They grab Chris Olave. And yeah, again, he's the best wide receiver in this class. Speedy, explosive, and he can run all those routes that Jameis Winston thrives at throwing. So good for Chris Olave and good for the Saints and getting their guy. Next up was a little bit of a surprise. The Lions trade up for Jameson Williams. Excellent pick. A+. That's an A+ pick. He suffered a torn ACL, obviously, last year, in his last year of the college football. It's going to be interesting. Apparently, he's way ahead on schedule on his rehab. I think, again, I was saying this as well all through the draft process. A team who doesn't need to win a Super Bowl day 1, who doesn't need him to be healthy day 1, is going to draft him. And I'm not surprised that the Lions, a team who doesn't need him to be immediately the best player in this draft, grabbed him, and they're probably going to sit him for most of the season. I wouldn't be surprised if they go, we just spent a first-round pick on you. We did an amazing trade for our team where we don't give up a second-round pick. We just give up a third-round pick to move up and draft you. We need you to sit for your like at least multiple games of your rookie season. He's a big play receiver. Again, before injury, he was my wide receiver 1, and Garrett Wilson was 1B. But Jameson Williams, when healthy, is the best receiver in this class. So the fact that the Lions now have a weapon roster of DJ Shark, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jameson Williams, TJ Hawkinson, and DeAndre Swift with a really solid offensive line, and Jared Goff under the play calling and tutelage of Dan Campbell, that's going to be a good offense. I like that offense. And they also got, obviously, Aiden Hutchinson. They still have all those picks in day 2. I'm excited for the Lions this year, man. I'm genuinely excited for the Lions in 2022. I think there's a very high chance they sneak in as a 6th or 7th seed. I was saying that during the draft party. Hey, don't be surprised if this team slips into the playoffs at pick 6 or at the 6th or 7th seed. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if they sneak in. They were so close to a winning record last year. They only won 3 games, but there were so many one-score games that, like, a field goal won it for the other team or a touchdown last minute won it for the other team. They were in so many games last year, and I wouldn't be surprised if their additions they had this offseason get them over the top, and they start winning like 8-9 games next year. We got A+ pick for the Lions, and the trade was an A+. I also love the Jordan Davis pick. I love the Jordan Davis pick. Fletcher Cox and Javon Hargrove are aging veterans. And when I saw that Jordan Davis got drafted, I said, that's Fletcher Cox's replacement. Like, Fletcher Cox got cut this offseason and then re-signed to a 1-year deal. So I wouldn't be surprised if Fletcher Cox, for the rest of his career, is on 1-year deals. And I wouldn't be surprised if he isn't on the Eagles next year, Whether that means he retires or he goes somewhere else because the Eagles don't need him anymore, I don't know. You guys decide what that means. But in my opinion, this is a Fletcher Cox replacement. Him and Milton Williams, a third-round pick from last year, they both are probably they're really athletic. They're both really athletic. They had really good combines, both of them. Jordan Davis right now is just a run defender, but again, that they were really good at their defensive line developments. For some reason, Josh Sweat has been really good. They signed Hassan Reddick, and they still have Brandon Graham on roster. You draft Milton Williams last year, Jordan Davis this year. You have Javon Hargrove and Fletcher Cox still on roster. Amazing pick. They're gonna develop Jordan Davis really well, and I'm excited for that pick. The Baltimore Ravens. This is gonna be controversial. I don't like this pick. I don't like the fit with Kyle Hamilton. I'll go fair. For the Ravens, there were better guys available. I'm gonna go fair. Again, I know I'm in the cold take on this opinion. Kyle Hamilton, I don't see fitting in that Michigan defensive scheme. Again, the Ravens, they signed Michigan's defensive coordinator from last year. I forgot his name. In fact, let's look it up real quick. Michigan defensive coordinator. Wait. Let's go Ravens new defensive coordinator. There we go. Mike Macdonald, that's his name. Mike Macdonald. And Mike Macdonald doesn't have a role for Kyle Hamilton. I remember, I couldn't remember the guy's name. Yeah, Mike Macdonald was the Michigan defensive coordinator last year. Now with the Ravens after Wink Martindale was fired. I don't see it working. Again, I like Kyle Hamilton. I think he's a pretty good safety. The problem is he needed a very specific scheme. I just don't see it. I don't see it working with the Ravens. I wish it will. I hope it will. I'm a Browns fan, but I hope it works for guys. I want Kyle Hamilton to be an all-pro, Pro Bowl safety. Unless they want to change the scheme that Mike Macdonald runs, I don't know. He could play an Ed Reed type of role where he's a thumper, and if he plays coverage linebacker, that'd be amazing. What was it? I remember that franchise guy. I watch his videos about the draft because he knows way more in depth than I ever do, and it gives me a little bit of a different insight on what I think of guys. He said that the Ravens might play him as a will linebacker, and I agree with that. If he plays a linebacker role, I will 100% change my tune. That's an amazing pick. But if he plays safety and just strong safety in the box, where he's not doing linebacker roles, he's just a safety in the box, I don't know. But again, I know I'm in the minority. I know I'm in the minority on this. And the Baltimore Ravens grabbing Kyle Hamilton started a run of picks that I didn't like. Kenyan Green was a second-round pick, in my opinion. Maybe a fringe third, but he was a mid to late second-round pick for me. And they got him at 15. When Zion Johnson is still available, they go Kenyan Green. There's a better prospect available. I'm going to go fair pick. There's a better prospect available in Zion Johnson. Again, I like Kenyan Green. I always had him slipping into the first round, but he was always one of the last picks of the first round. He was one of those guys that at this late first round pick, you just want that fifth-year option. So either you trade back or you grab a guy that's in the second round that you think could be a first rounder. But yeah, Kenyan Green, I always had him going to the Bucks at 27 because they need a guard, and I'm like, I don't see him at 15. He's not the best prospect. He's not the best prospect available. That's just me. But Kenyan Green's really good. He was versatile all across the line. He played left tackle through right tackle all throughout his career. He played whatever the team needed him to be. But he's probably going to end up playing left guard for them. And he's going to be a good left guard. It's just there was a better prospect available. Jahan Dotson, I did not like this pick. It's a fair draft pick. Jahan Dotson is a really good receiver. But he was a day 2 guy for me. But again, as I keep saying, if you like a guy and you don't know if he's going to be there when you pick next, you either trade back and pick him, or you got to reach. So like the Patriots, they're getting a lot of heat for their pick in the first round, but that was their guy. So they traded back and drafted him because he wasn't going to be there available at the next pick, they thought. So I was hoping the Commanders, they did trade back. They traded back from 11 to 16. They got like a third and a fourth, I believe. So they got their receiver they wanted, and because honestly there was a run on receiver way earlier than anyone thought. So the Commanders, they trade back. They go, oh, Jahan Dotson is not going to be available when we pick next. We need to trade back and grab Jahan Dotson. So they grabbed Jahan Dotson, but I don't know if they needed a receiver. That's my thing. They didn't need a receiver. They have Terry McLaurin. They have Curtis Samuel. They have De'Ami Brown. Like, you have 3 receivers that are really good. So this is, in my opinion, this is them getting protection that if Terry McLaurin asks for a trade. That's my opinion on it. But yeah, Jahan Dotson to the Washington Commanders. Next up, the best pick in the draft. Best pick in the draft. I've been saying it. The best pick in the draft. Zion Johnson to the Chargers was the best pick in the draft. You now create an offensive line for Justin Herbert that is left tackle, all-pro, Pro Bowl, Rashawn Slater. Zion Johnson with the ability to be an all-pro, Pro Bowl guard. And a center, an all-pro, Pro Bowl Corey Linsley. Like, amazing left tackle through right guard, or through a center. Then Storm Norton, I've been reading reports that they really do believe in Storm Norton at right guard. And Matt Filer is a good enough right tackle to start. They might go in free agency and sign a right tackle, or just add depth to the offensive line. But their starting 5 is really good. Especially their left tackle through center is all Pro Bowl capable guys. I think Zion Johnson might have the Rashawn Slater season, where he's an all-pro rookie. I'm being genuine. He is one of the only offensive linemen I truly believe can be an all-pro rookie. And the Chargers got him. Back-to-back, they're going to grab all-pro rookies at the offensive line, where they really need the help. But yeah, they could do a couple more things in the second and third round. I wouldn't be surprised if they grab a depth guy at right tackle and have Matt Filer start. And then honestly, if Matt Filer isn't good enough as what they thought, they now have their rookie start. But I don't know. The Titans. So I'm not gonna be. I like Treylin Burks. Treylin Burks. Sorry, not Burke. I like Treylin Burks to the Titans. In my final mock draft, I had the Titans selecting Treylin Burks at 23. The problem is, you trade A.J. Brown to select Treylin Burks. That means you're cheap. You're cheap. You have one of the most wealthy owners in the NFL and all of the sports in America. You have one of the wealthiest owners. And you don't want to pay A.J. Brown $25 million a year. That's it. 4 years, $100 million. 2 years, fully guaranteed with the Eagles. You don't want to pay that? That's cheap. That's cheap to me. So I'm gonna go good draft pick, but I can't go excellent because you had to trade away A.J. Brown. I would have signed A.J. Brown and then also had Treylin Burks on the roster. Imagine that. Imagine having Treylin Burks and A.J. Brown. That's just me. Again, I didn't like the trade at all. And Trevor Penning, fair prospect. I can't go higher than fair. I can't. Bernard Raymond was a better prospect in my eyes than Trevor Penning. Trevor Penning is a good run defender. Run blocker. Sorry, not defender. Run blocker. He's a terrible pass blocker. He has so many issues on the pass blocking area. He holds constantly. He commits so many penalties at left tackle. I'm gonna be wary. I think he played right tackle in college, but at the tackle position, he caused so many penalties and he constantly held. Even when it wasn't called, you could see him holding. His run defending is really good though. I'm not gonna talk bad about his run defending. He's a really good run defender, but pass blocking, I can't talk good about him. I can't. Again, this is their draft class. They traded a first, a third, and a fourth for Chris Olave, which was a good pick, and Trevor Penning. They must really believe in Jameis Winston, which I do. I believe in Jameis Winston. Unless they go a quarterback in the second round, I wouldn't be surprised if they don't. Because all the quarterbacks are available. Malik Willis, Desmond Ridder, Sam Howell, Carson Strong, all of them are available. So I wouldn't be surprised if the Saints go quarterback in the second round. Oh, Kenny Pickett. So I went on Twitter immediately after Kenny Pickett was drafted because I was wondering what people were thinking, right? I went on Twitter immediately. Everyone was bashing them. Steelers fans, Browns fans, Ravens fans, Bengals fans. Kenny Pickett is the worst quarterback in the AFC North. Sure, he might be better day one, right? Okay, this is what everyone's been saying. Kenny Pickett is a better quarterback day one than Malik Willis. 2 years from now, that will not be the case. Kenny Pickett, again, You have Mitchell Trubisky on roster. Your plan was you start Mitchell Trubisky year 1, maybe even year 2, and you let the quarterback you draft this year develop. Kenny Pickett is not going to develop into a better quarterback than Malik Willis. Or Sam Howell. I like Sam Howell. He won't. Again, fair draft pick. There are better quarterbacks available. I don't believe in Kenny Pickett. Again, but the thing is, the Steelers are the best developmental team in the NFL. They are the Toronto Raptors of the NFL. I said that on Twitter. I said the Steelers are the Toronto Raptors of the NFL, and they're going to draft a quarterback and develop them really well. I wouldn't have picked Kenny Pickett, but hey, they're going to do it. Whatever. It's the pick's gone. I can only give it a fair because I think there's a better quarterback available that fits what they want to do better. Next up is Trey McDuffie. Excellent draft pick. The Chiefs did amazing. The Chiefs did amazing this draft. Trey McDuffie fills their cornerback 1 position immediately, and he was a top 15 prospect. You grab him at 21. He was a top 15 prospect. You got him at 21. Cornerback 1 is now filled for the Chiefs. They let Travarius Ward walk. They replaced him with Trey McDuffie, who's better already. So good for the Chiefs at 21. Next up is Quay Walker. Again, bad draft pick. You trade up for a linebacker. You trade up for a day 2 linebacker. He is a second-round linebacker. You still have Devin Lloyd on the board. You still have Leo Chenal on the board. And you reach for Quay Walker. Why don't you reach for a receiver? Because in his press conference after the draft, after the first round, Gutekunst said, why would I trade up or why would I draft a receiver just to draft a receiver? You drafted a linebacker just to draft a linebacker. You should have grabbed the receiver. George Pickens was still available and is still available. So he is still available. You could have traded 22 overall for Marquise Brown because that's a better pick than the Cardinals traded for. You could have traded for A.J. Brown. You pair a first and a third for A.J. Brown. Like, there's so many things that they could have done, and they chose to do none of them because, for whatever reason, they refused to draft a receiver or trade for an elite receiver. I don't get it. I'd be pissed off if I'm a Packers fan. Kyle Elam, good draft pick, not excellent. I'm very high on Kyle Elam, but apparently, I was wondering this during the draft. It looks like Andrew Booth Jr. has some injury issues right now, and just like throughout his career, he's had injury issues I didn't know about. He had a rough 2020, and Kyle Elam had a really rough 2020 and 2021. I like Kyle Elam, though. I think he'd be a lockdown corner, and next to Trey White, he's a pair really well with him. Cowboys grabbed Tyler Smith. It's a bad pick. It's just a bad pick. Again, better guys were available at tackle, at guard, at center. There's better picks everywhere. At guard, you still have like Dylan Parham still on the board. At this point, Cole Stranger's still available. So there's better guards still in the second round. I probably would have gone Bernard Raymond. Let him sit behind Tyron Smith, and boom, becomes your left tackle in a year or two. Tyler Linderbaum was still available. I kept saying Tyler Linderbaum should go at 24. Because Tyler Biadasz has not turned out good. He's been average at best. So you could have gone Linderbaum, had a franchise center. I don't know, man. That's just me. I didn't like the pick. I still think it's a bad pick. He's terrible at pass protection. He's an okay run defender, terrible pass pro. And the Cowboys just want to draft him to draft him. So I'm not going to, like, if you want to do that, man, I'm not going to endorse it. Let's say that. I'm not going to endorse it. Next up is the Ravens. Oh, excellent pick. Excellent pick. I believe this was a trade down, right? Yeah, because the Buffalo traded up to grab Kyle Elam. They traded a 4th-round pick to trade up and grab Kyle Elam. And the Ravens, they slide back, and they grab still the best center in the draft. Again, it's a position of need. They let Bradley Bozeman walk. And Tyler Linderbaum, sure, he's undersized a little bit. He still, at Iowa, was a mauler. Still went up against NFL talent defensive tackles and defensive linemen. Like, cool. He's not 6'5", 340-pound center. He's not. But his size doesn't matter because his size didn't matter in college when he went up against D tackles that got drafted in the NFL. It was never a problem. So I think with the Ravens, it's gonna work out. I don't understand his slip at all. And same with Jermaine Johnson. Excellent draft pick. The Jets apparently were thinking about taking him at 4, and he slipped all the way to 26. They traded what? It was with Tennessee. They traded a second, a fourth, right? It was a second and a fourth to trade up and grab Jermaine Johnson. Amazing pick. They were going to grab him early in the first round. They let him slide all the way down to 26. This might be one of the best picks of the draft because they wanted him so early. I never thought he was a top 10 prospect. I never had that. I had him usually going at 15 to the Eagles. That was the highest I ever went with him. So the slide wasn't that crazy to me, but the slide to 26 was crazy because he is still a good prospect. But the Jets, they get a really good home run pick. They had an amazing first round, man. They had an amazing first round. Next up is Devin Lloyd. I'm going to go good draft pick. Not excellent. I'm going to go good. So the Jaguars had different needs that I thought they would address. I like Devin Lloyd, but linebacker is a pretty deep class. And trading up back into the first round to grab him, a little weary. But again, I keep saying, if you like a guy, you go and get him. That's why I'm mad at the Packers. They didn't go and get their guy. But the Jaguars, they traded back into the first round, and they got their guy. Tampa Bay now has the first pick in the second round, I believe. I think it was the second and a third they traded up with the Buccaneers to get back to 27. The Bucs get more capital. I wouldn't be surprised if Trey McBride is one of their picks. But the Jaguars grabbed Devin Lloyd. Really good player, just for a team that I didn't expect to grab him. They got a lot of defensive talent now. Like, that defense is, like, really young and really good. But again, Trent Baalke trades his young guys, so we don't know. They probably won't be on the team in a year. Green Bay grabbing Devante Wyatt. Again, I'm going to go good, not great, because they still need a wide receiver. But Devante Wyatt, if they would have gone Devante Wyatt at 22 and then a receiver at 28, it would have been a home run first round. But the fact that you grab a linebacker who wasn't predicted to go in the first round, you reach for him, and then you grab Devante Wyatt, insane. Devante Wyatt and Kenny Clark are going to be amazing. Devante Wyatt pass rushing next to Kenny Clark. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch. Now, this one I want to talk about a bit. I'm going to go good draft pick. I'm going to go good. Let me explain. Cole Strange is a good interior lineman. He was the last, outside of Dylan Parham, he was the last guard I had in the top 3 rounds. No one else I had in my top 3 rounds. It was Cole Strange, Dylan Parham, Kenyan Green, and Zion Johnson. Those are the 4 guards I have as the first 2 days that you should draft. Now, Cole Strange is a reach. It's a big reach. But, again, if you love a guy who isn't going to be a first rounder, he's like a second, third round talent. If you love a guy, you should trade back as much as you can, and you feel comfortable trading back to grab them. Because if they would have picked him at 21, I'd be way lower on it. But they traded back, got a little bit of draft capital, and they grabbed their guy. Like, they needed a guard. They need a guard. That's the last really thing on their offensive line that they needed. He is a little bit of a developmental project, but hear me out. He's going to be really good. We need to not, 33% going terrible draft pick. They don't know what they're talking about. They don't know what they're talking about. Cole Strange is a really good player. He's going to be really good to the Patriots as well. They're really good developing guards. Like Michael Onwenu, however you pronounce his name. They did the exact same thing. They drafted him in day 2. He was a Pro Bowler, I'm pretty sure. Or he's Pro Bowl level guard this past year. They're just really good at it. George Karlaftis, excellent draft pick. Top 10 player. I had him usually going at, what was it? It was number 9. I think it was number 9 was the highest I ever went to the Seahawks. And because there was no tackles available. I like George Karlaftis. His energy is really good. And he fills one of the biggest needs for the Chiefs, which was edge, corner, wide receiver. In that order. Edge, corner, wide receiver. They got corner earlier in Trey McDuffie. Now they grabbed George Karlaftis after his slide. Really good pick. A top 10 player in my opinion. And one of the best players available at his position at that point. Next up is Daxton Hill. It's a good pick. That's an excellent pick. He was the best version of a corner safety hybrid. I like Trey McDuffie, but I think he's going to succeed at corner. Trey McDuffie was a player that if he doesn't succeed at corner, he'll be good at safety. But Daxton Hill is a guy that is good at both right now. Like, he doesn't need to make the switch if he fails at corner. He can be your slot corner and your safety hybrid. And I think the Bengals are going to figure out a way to use him. They list him at safety right now, but I think he's a play slot corner for them, and then play that safety role, and they'll bring another guy out to play slot corner when they're in the nickel dime package. But yeah, amazing pick. Again, he's a top 15 player, and they got him at 31. So, and then the Vikings, I'm gonna go bad draft pick. I'm going bad. You have Cam Bynum, you have Harrison Smith, who you're paying a bunch of money to. Why do you trade back? And it's also with the trade. Again, I like Quessy. Their GM, I really like him. He's from the Browns. He's a really smart, intelligent dude, from all the reports are saying. But you trade back 20 picks, right? You trade back 20 picks. When at pick 12, Kyle Hamilton was available. And that was a system where I think that he could have succeeded in, because they need linebacker play, and he can play that linebacker role. So instead of grabbing Kyle Hamilton at 12, you trade back 20 picks. You swap firsts. You then swap seconds and just get a third-round pick. Sure, you move up in the second round. Cool, whatever. You move up. But you gave up your seconds, even though the Lions wanted to move up 20 picks from 32 to 12. They want to move from the very last pick of the first round to a fringe top 10 pick. And all they had to do was give up a third and move back 10 slots in the first round. Weird trade, and then on top of that, grabbing Lewis Cine, a position you don't need when you need a corner, and Andrew Booth is still available. Again, yes, he has some injury concerns, but at 32 overall in the NFL draft, you can bank on him eventually being healthy with that fifth-year option. But they grab Lewis Cine. Wasn't my go-to pick for that position, but hey, again, I am just a guy with a microphone and a camera. So if you guys did enjoy this video, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification to be notified when I post next, and when I go live at 7 p.m. tonight, EST, for round 2 and 3 of the NFL draft. I'll see you guys then.